The doll of Dodge City, red-haired and blue-eyed, Amanda Blake looks better out of those hoop skirts as herself than she does as Kitty Russell, cool proprietress of Gunsmoke's Long Branch Saloon. And if Kitty seems independent on the TV screen, that's not acting. She lives alone and likes it. When Amanda Blake finishes a day's adventuring as Kitty Russell, the beautiful saloon hostess on TVS Gunsmoke, she dons jeans and drives a crowded freeway 30 miles to her home. It's on a hill so far out in the San Fernando Valley that deer sometimes graze the higher adjoining slopes. Nobody awaits Amanda at home unless you count a poodle, 2 Persian cats and sometimes an itinerant peacock that eats from her hand and roosts on the roof. A lonesome life. I like living alone, says TVS No. 1 Western heroine. I like being independent, so that when I go home at night nobody says, "What time's dinner?" I'm with people all day. The peace and quiet I just relish. Perhaps most red-blooded TV viewers are aware. Gunsmoke's Kitty Russell is the shapely, low-voiced proprietress of the Long Branch Saloon in Dodge City, Kansas of the 1870s. In a dotted dress that reveals graceful calves usually hidden on TV by long costumes, Kitty's portrayal is possibly even more arresting to male eyes of 1962. Miss Blake is 33, weighs 127 and measures 38-23 for 36. A beauty mark high on her right cheek is a freckle 46. The Sunday Star TV magazine, Washington, D.C. November 11, 1962. She accentuates, off-screen and on, with an eyebrow pencil. Her 5'7" height is handy in scenes with 6'6"L/2 James Arness, who plays Marshall Matt Dillon. Independence has helped Miss Blake attain stardom, riches, and, she reflects, 2 divorces. I'm a loner, so independent it's awful. It's one of the main reasons for the failures of my marriages. I have to do things on my own, earn my own living. I don't know why. I've always been that way, even as a kid. Luck helped get her into the movies a dozen years ago. The father of the high school girlfriend was a producer, who arranged a screen test. But she landed the Kitty role on her own, at Gunsmoke's inception, by sitting in its producer's office and waiting until he would interview her. I'd heard the radio version, she says, and felt it was something I could do. Obviously it was. With Arness as Marshall Dillon, Dennis Weaver as his deputy, Chester, and Milburn Stone as Doc, Gunsmoke has started its 8th year on the air, its 2nd as an hour show, and as far as I'm concerned, Amanda said, it can go on for 800. It has brought her acting fulfillment. The role continues to be a challenge and financial security for the rest of my life. Earlier this year, Miss Blake, Weaver and Stone sold their residual rights in 6 years of half-hour Gunsmokes to CBS for around $1 million apiece. Arness' unreported deal presumably was even better since his company produces the filmed program. Amanda's salary as Kitty approaches $100 a year. On Kitty's romance with Marshall Dillon, she says, "We keep it very subtle. We let people let their imagination do what they want them to do. Actually, I love the scenes where all we do is, as Jim says, eyeball it." On fictional Kitty, she's smart and, to me, a real person. Sometimes I try to solve problems as Kitty would. I think she has better judgment than I have. Age. I refuse to grow old. You can think yourself into any age. There are days when I feel 195. Does the fact she drives a 1959 upper medium price station wagon mean she's economical? No, I think dollars were made round to roll. Recent purchases. A $5,000 The Sunday Star TV magazine, Washington, D.C. November 11, 1962 leopard coat and a $1,700 pearl and diamond ring. She also has bought stocks, 3 bowling alleys I can't bowl a bit, and 2 pieces of acreage I don't really know how much, 1 just sign the papers. My business manager takes care of all that. The first time she tried to ride a horse was for a Gunsmoke scene. She recalls, "I was terrified and crying. A good friend of mine had been killed on a horse. Every time the horse took a step I screamed. Then, at lunch, I had 2 scotch and waters. Within an hour I was trotting that horse up and down the set. After that I took lessons from a cowboy on the show."